Hi, welcome to Caribou Country Lifestyle. My name is Cheryl, and today I am finally getting around to putting this compost and putting a good layer of compost onto each of my raised beds in my raised bed garden area. So this is the compost that my husband has been making, and this compost on this side is it's well over a year old. And then with me putting a layer of that onto my raised beds and then having the snow on top of that, and then that's going to melt and that's going to soak that compost and kind of leach all those nutrients from the compost into my soil. So I'm very excited about getting this compost onto all my raised beds, and I'm bringing you along with me. So let's get started. I gotta watch because it's wet and it's slippery. So I gotta watch my footing because I definitely don't want to fall and end up hurting myself. This is just some really, really nice quality compost in here. I'm really happy with it. It's a very wonderfully rich brown in color. Somebody had made a comment on my last video about how nice and dark my dirt was. And I just said, between the black rich of the garden soil that we get from the local feed store, we get a really nice rich garden soil from there, and then you add this compost to it. Yeah, it's just amazing. So if you don't have a compost pile, you should really think about getting one. I know my sister hasn't had a compost pile, but then she was watching my videos about the size of my tomatoes, and I'm like, I'm growing my tomatoes out in the elements. Like, I'm not growing them in a greenhouse, and they're doing great. I mean, this last year, they didn't ripen as fast as they normally would, but they still turned out great. And I'm still doing things with my tomatoes every weekend. This weekend, I'm doing hot and sweet chili sauce, but I'll probably be making that tomorrow. Today I'd like to just get focused on getting this compost, and I'm just putting a layer of it on top of the already soil. I'm not mixing it in, and once I get a good layer of compost on each of these beds, then I can just let them rest for the winter. Okay, let's go take this down to the raised beds. Okay, we're gonna start with this first bed here and just make our way across the back all along. And I'll probably be just putting this whole wheelbarrow of compost in this bed. So, with that being said, I'm gonna need maybe 12 or 13 loads of compost. Oh, that doesn't even include my flower garden in the center, because I got to put a load of compost in it too. So yeah, I'm definitely going to get my workout today. And I don't take these panels down. They just stay up for the winter, because I don't plan on changing any of the panels around this year. I changed it around the year before last, and I actually like it this way better. What I mean is I like this setup better. Come on this other side. It'll be close to 2-inch layer, and if it's not a big deal. It'll be really close. Then when I get down to the very bottom of what's in the wheelbarrow, pick the wheelbarrow up and dump it in. Okay. Now just move this in here closer. I just grab it, pick up my wheelbarrow, and just dump it in. There we go. And then all I have to do is grab my rake and just smooth it all out, move it around, make it so that it's fairly level, and then we're done. We'll move on to the next bed. Yeah, so my sister, she lives in Saskatchewan, and she's never had a compost pile, but she believes that, you know, I think there's something to be said about adding compost into your garden and looking how great your plants do with a mix of compost and good quality soil. That she's also been getting a hold of like old straw, and she's put a layer of that because she has a fairly large in-ground garden, and she's put a layer of that old straw on top of it, and then they're like tilling it into the dirt to try and lighten things up a bit. So yeah, I hope that she can have a good compost pile getting going. And she doesn't know if it'll be ready for next spring, but hey, you never know, it might be. It's actually a fairly nice day today. Well, it's not super warm, like it's only supposed to get to 4 degrees Celsius as a high, but when you're busy doing this, I've got quite a few layers on, and I can see that this jacket's going to be coming off and pretty quick here. It doesn't take long to get this compost spread out either. I told my husband we were going to have to share this wheelbarrow, and he says, I am hours away from needing to use the wheelbarrow. And I'm like, perfect, because I definitely need that wheelbarrow. I've been without a wheelbarrow for the last couple of weekends well, I was able to use it down there, but then I wanted to put compost and I couldn't do it because he was doing something that we also needed to have done. And he's almost finished. Once he gets to the point where he's going to start loading that bark mulch and filling that in around those shrubs. That's when he'll need the wheelbarrow. And I'm hoping to be done by then, because I don't want to stand in his way of getting that work done either. Always something that needs to be done. Because I only have a little bit left. As long as I aim it in the right direction and it goes into my bed. Gotta tip it up a little bit more. There. Almost all of it. Just gotta push that in. Yeah, it's so nice. It's such nice compost. My husband does a great job. I'll have to tell him that. Because it's so really, really nice, rich compost. Oh my gosh. I gotta show you something. Look down there. Those are onions. So I had some onions reseed themselves in this bed, but they must have, some seeds must have fallen down the side, and they're growing in the bark mulch. I still have my kale, and I will be picking a bunch of that today. I used up the last of what I had in the fridge, so I'm going to be picking a bunch more and taking that into the house. We actually aren't supposed to get, over the next 10 days, as a nighttime low, it's still going to be no lower than -1 degree Celsius. So that's not that bad. So I can just pick the kale that I need and just leave the rest of it until it gets a lot colder. So I still am going to be able to pick kale, and we are just into November now. Of course, it's going to be the time change tonight. I hate the time change. You know, there's not too many things that I hate, but that's one of them. I hate having to do the daylight savings. There was talk about getting rid of the daylight savings here across Canada. Like, my sister lives in Saskatchewan, and she doesn't have to change her clocks at all. So when I change my clock tonight before I go to bed, then we're going to go from my sister and I only having 1 hour difference to 2 hours difference. I mean, it's not a big, huge deal, but I just don't get why other provinces in Canada don't have to change their time, but we do. So that's the part I don't get. It just doesn't seem fair. So my little, put my 2 bits in for today. I mean, it's not a big, huge deal. We actually fall back, so we're gonna get an extra hour, but at my age, I'm not really sleeping in a whole heck of a lot, not like I used to. Oh my gosh, when my husband and I were first together, we could sleep in till 11 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock easy. Heck, today I was up before 7. The first time I looked at my clock, it was 6:30, or no, it was just after 6. And when I'm working, I have my alarm set for 6:15, but 9 times out of 10, I'm up and looking at my clock, waiting for it to get close enough. And then I'm like, oh, to heck with it. And I shut the alarm off and I just go have my shower and get ready. And in this bed, I have some little tiny carrots, trying little plants growing. So that's funny. Okay, we're almost done. Just got to empty the wheelbarrow. Well, that didn't work very well, did it? It's all on my feet. Huh. Well, I'll pick up as much as I can. Boy, that was unfortunate. There, I got most of it. I gotta be a lot more careful about how I'm doing this clearly. So, it wasn't too bad. I'm gonna just push some of this right now in around my kale. Get a bit of moisture on these. Well, last night, it couldn't decide if it wanted to rain or snow. And my phone did say we were supposed to get a 35% chance of snow. But it was so wet that it was more like rain. And if it was snow, it melted as soon as it hit the ground. Okay. I brought my baskets out here so that I can pick some kale and bring it into the house. Okay, that's 3 beds done. How many more to go? 10, including that flower bed. I just remembered I don't have to put compost on this bed next to my short one because that's where my garlic is planted, and I already put compost and mixed it in with the dirt, so that's one less bed that I have to do. So. But I think I need to lose a layer of clothes here. It's just, might be +4, but it feels warmer than that. That's for sure. Okay, let's turn this around. The outside's already dirty. I'll just put it there. Okay, let's carry on. My poor puppy's in the house barking her fool head off because Jamie is up by the road pruning all those dead branches off of those junipers, and he did have her up there, but he said it's getting harder for him to keep her from going onto the road, and that's all we need is to have a squished puppy on the road. Not a good situation. So he asked me to put her in the house, and I would have her out here if she would stay with me, but no, she's not gonna stay with me. She likes to be around him. So funny. Like, I was the one that wanted the dog. He could have cared less whether we got a dog or not. And when I said, oh, I found someone has some puppies, and he went, oh yeah, and I'm like, oh, they're super cute, and I showed him pictures of them and everything, and he just, oh yeah. And then I said, well, I'm going to get the puppy, and he goes, you are? I was like, well, yeah, of course, I told you I wanted a puppy. So I go and I get the puppy, and I get her, pay for this. Like, she wasn't cheap. You know, she's a Shih Tzu Maltese cross. And I mean, I paid $1,600 for her. That's not cheap. In my eyes, that's not cheap. I mean, I know people that pay a heck of a lot more than that for a puppy. And I get the food, I get all these toys, I get all these treats. I always pick up her food for her. And who does she follow around? Who does she absolutely love? Him. I'm like, something's wrong with this picture. I mean, she'll come to me when he's not around. But yeah, it's so funny. The way that she just, when he comes home from work, oh my gosh. Because when he pulls in the driveway, she is like, oh my gosh, it's my dad, it's my dad. And she's barking and she's crying and she's running around the house like a crazy dog until I have to wait until he parks, because it's like a 3-point turn to get him parked into his spot in front of the shop. And I have to wait until he starts backing in before I can let her out the front door, because she just bolts for that truck. And she is so happy to see him, and I'm just like, whatever, puppy. She's in there watching him from the living room window, barking at him, because she can totally see him and she can't understand why he's not letting her come out. Don't you hear me barking? I'm barking, I'm barking, I'm barking, and you're not doing anything about it. Yeah, there's love for you. I'll have to have a talk with her. See? Your dad's not that nice. And she's a really good dog, actually. She has such a gentle soul to her. She is so, just wants to love you, wants to be near you, just totally brings you joy being around her. She's so darn cute. She's cute until she's not. Once he's done pruning up alongside of the road, though, she'll be able to come out and hang out with him again. Okay. Almost done. Try to empty my wheelbarrow. Try not to dump it all over the ground this time. Okay. These beds are shorter, so it's a little easier to pick the wheelbarrow up and dump it in. Okay, let's be mindful about how we're doing this. And don't pull it back too much. Right there. It's easier when the bed is shorter, let me tell you. Okay, we're doing pretty good. So what I've decided for these two beds, they aren't that depleted of soil. So I am just going to put a thin layer of compost on these two beds. So this one wheelbarrow, I'm just going to split it up between these two. And we'll see how that goes. Oh, he's got his chainsaw. He must have one of the bases of the juniper is probably huge, and he's gonna chainsaw it out. Okay, so the rest of this I'm gonna put on this bed. Getting stuff done. My sister was telling me that she has ended up finding, you know, those, they're from Shelter Logics, and they're a shelter for your vehicle. And then it has a cover that goes over top of it. And some are like 8 feet by 8 feet, 10 by 12, 12 by 20. I don't know what size she got, but she got a frame, and it didn't cost, I don't think she paid anything for the frame, but all she had was the frame. It doesn't have the cover, which she doesn't need, because she's going to cover it with plastic and turn it into a greenhouse. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I went on to Marketplace on Facebook, looked it up. I found one in Kamloops. Well, that's 3 hours away. and it was just the frame. The guy wanted $126 for it, and I'm like, for one, I don't want to drive all the way to Kamloops, and I don't want to pay $126 for it either. So I was like, no, I guess I'm not getting one. I'm keep my eye out. I did find on Marketplace, I bought a secondhand crate because I'm on the lookout for kittens. As you know, I just don't want feral kittens. Those two, well, the one was really bad. Not so much the white one was nowhere near as mean as the orange one. But still, I want kittens that are babies, from kittens. And that way I can raise them my way, which would be to love everyone and be kind to my puppy, not take a strip off of my puppy just because she's following you, because my dog loves to follow. As you know, she follows my husband everywhere. So she likes to follow. So, okay. Let's get this dumped in here without any messes. Pull it back a little. And dump her in. Make sure I get all of it. Okay. All of that in there. And then I'll spread it around with the rake. This bed here definitely needs to be topped up with compost. I don't think I did. No, I didn't. Because on this side I planted my red Russian garlic, and on that bed, on that side, I planted my Mexican purple garlic. And so these ones never did get topped up with compost. So this one definitely, I'm gonna come on this side first and do this side. This is such an awkward spot, just because of the fences. I'm like hitting my shovel. I could probably just do it on this side and shoot it underneath. That's what I'm gonna do. Those tomatoes, they take up a lot of nutrients. And so you definitely want to be amending your beds when you're putting tomatoes in, because they eat up those nutrients like nothing. So I'm 59 and I go in for my yearly mammogram, and this last summer at the end of June I lost my doctor. She ended up moving away. She wasn't here for very long. I think she made it 2 or 3 years, and that was it. I'm not sure where she was from. She had an accent. She could have been South African, because we seem to get a lot of people moving here from South Africa. So anyways, I lost my doctor at the end of June. And then what you do is you phone the 811 number and you get your name put on the list, so that when we get another doctor in this area, hopefully you can get one of these doctors. So of course they called me this summer. We were camping in Kamloops and they called me, and I was taking my dog out for a walk, and she said, "Oh, we have a new doctor coming to our clinic. So you're going to have a doctor." And I was like, "Oh, that's great." And I said, so she gave me his name, but she said he wasn't going to be here until September the 18th. I was like, nope, no big deal. That's fine. I'm just glad I have a doctor. So a couple of weeks ago, I went in to have my mammogram, and I get a call from the doctor's office last week saying that my doctor wanted to come in and go over some test results. And I'm like, well, the only thing I've had that I had any test results from was this mammogram. So now I'm instantly freaking out because that's what I do. I don't know if it's about all girls, but most girls, they just go from here to there, and I'm wondering what the heck's going on. Oh great, what does this mean? And so I make the appointment. I go in to see him, and he said, oh, what are you here for? And I said, well, you want to go over my test results. I'm assuming it's from my mammogram. And he goes, oh yeah, I see that. He goes, I just want to let you know that everything looks really good. And I'm just like, really? The last 2 days I've been thinking, oh no, what does this mean? I'm freaking out. And I told a couple of people, and they were like, it's probably nothing, but you can't help but think, what if it's something? So I was glad that that's what he had to tell me. But then in the other sense, I was just like, you couldn't have told me that over the phone. Well, the funnier thing was, I only pick up my mail once a week. And I go and pick up my mail the same day, right after I went to see my doctor, and there was the letter from the screening saying that it was totally fine. So if I would have picked up my mail and found that letter, then I would have known everything was fine, and I could have went to my doctor's office with a clear conscience of nothing's wrong. But yeah, was a little freaked out there for a little bit. Okay, I'm not going to get through there, I don't think. I'll go on this side and dump this, I guess. I don't have a whole heck of a lot of room. No, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to dump it from the front, which is fine because, like I say, these beds are so short. But I got to bring it back just a little so I can get some clearance here. That's pretty close. So, yeah, glad that nothing was wrong. I had, somebody had noticed that my left hand shakes, and she wondered if it was, or I'm not sure, they wondered if I had been checked for, not MS, Parkinson's. Wondered if I had been checked for Parkinson's because she noticed I had a shake in my left hand. And I'm like, no, I've already been to my doctor to find out that I have a tremor in my left hand. And as I get older, it's going to get worse. And I'm like, awesome. It's great getting old sometimes. And then sometimes not so much. So anyways, there's nothing I can do about it. The issue I have with that is that I'm left-handed. So it's really hard to all of a sudden switch and do things with my right hand, which is funny because any sports that I play, I'm right-handed with my sports. Play baseball, I throw with my right hand. If I play soccer, I kick with my right leg. If I snowboard, I lead with my right foot. I mean, play any racket sports, I play with my right. But if I shoot pool left-handed. I eat left-handed, I write left-handed. I kind of use both. And I mean, there are times when I can write with my right hand. And I was thinking, maybe I just need to switch over to my right hand, and then it won't be such a big deal about my shaky left hand. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think for this U-shaped bed, I'm just going to do this side and that side. In the middle here, this is all my asparagus I have growing. I could put some in behind, but it's already laying down, and I have all of these new shoots growing and I don't want to disturb it. So I think I'm just going to put some on this bed and put some on this bed, and I won't do any in the middle. And then in the come spring, I can just put a layer of compost in the back here. Filled this one pretty full, but it's pretty wet too, so it's definitely heavy. And I need to put quite a bit in the back there because that's where I had that sunflower, and it had quite the little root ball on it. So I'm going to leave this thyme plant because I'd like to see if it'll come back. It's funny because I really only went without a doctor for 3 months. My husband and my son went without a doctor for 1.5 years. It's just a crazy time. It's like, I don't know what it is. And we just seem to have a shortage of professional people. Like, even in the school where I work, we have a shortage of teachers. We have a shortage of EAs, educational assistants. That's what I do. We're actually losing. One of our EAs is leaving the school district and going to work for another company because they have better benefits, more hours, better pay. They really look after you. You know, I'm sorry, but sometimes I just don't think big businesses, I don't know what it is for other school districts, but I just don't find that they really look after you in our school district. Sometimes you feel like you're just a number. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to I'll do that bed next. I mean, I thought I was gonna retire at 60, but that ain't happening. I might have to work until I'm 65. I don't want to. I have no problem finding things to do around home. I have no problem puttering. I'm thinking about maybe this winter, I won't be out in the garden. So I'm thinking that maybe this winter I might try to get some painting done in the house. Because so far we've renovated our bedroom and we renovated the kitchen and the living room, but we have 2 other bedrooms that need to be renovated, and the hallway needs to be painted. The master bathroom the main bathroom needs to be painted. So I was thinking, well, maybe I'll just put a coat of paint on in the hallway. We're not changing the flooring in the walls. It's the existing tile that was in the house when we moved in, and it is in such good shape that it doesn't need to be changed. So I'm just going to dump the rest of it on this side. And then I just need to not dump this on the ground. That's what I need. Then I just need 2 more loads of compost, and then I'm done. It's almost lunchtime. That'll be good. I did put some in here in the spring, so I've kind of doubled my compost when it came into this bed. There. 1 more load for sure. think this is going to be my last load. And then I'm going to pick my kale and we'll be done for in the garden. I was saying it's almost lunchtime, and what I've done is I have casseroles in my freezer, and before I came out here I put a casserole in the oven frozen, and I have it just cooking and heating up at 350 degrees, and it has been in the oven now for an hour and a half. So, but it's frozen, like frozen solid, so I'm thinking that it might almost be done. It doesn't take, like with it being frozen solid, it definitely takes longer, but it's probably on the verge of being done. And this is just my parsley. I still haven't picked it. I'm hoping to get to it today, hopefully. I might have to come back out here after lunch and pick it. This, I have a little plant in the middle. That is monk's hood that I got from my sister, and I brought that home, and it has done wonderful. So I'm hoping this bleeding heart that she gave me will make it too, because I didn't really get it in the ground until not too long ago. So here's hoping that it'll be okay. And maybe this compost will help. And I'll show you how much compost I've taken away from my pile. I mean, I still have lots, but I put a pretty good dent in it. That's for sure. Is I'm going to fill in all these little holes going around. I'm going to fill that in with compost in the spring too. So that'll be good. I have lots of compost, which is awesome. And he's got another bed on the go, another compost pile on the go. So, whew, I think the sun's thinking about coming out now that I'm almost done. Not that I would want the sun beating on me as well. No thanks, I'm warm enough as it is. I mean, I would just lose my vest. Definitely not t-shirt weather. Let's pull this over to dump it in. At least it's low enough I can see what I'm doing. Good thing my arms are long. Okay, we'll just push this in around here. Okay, there we go. Just quickly pick this. Oh, I was gonna check my phone. Somebody was texting me. Don't know if it's my husband, wondering what we're doing for lunch. Let me check. Yeah. He says, is that our lunch in the oven? Yes. He'll be happy about that. Because if I didn't do that, so what I did, oh, I would totally squirreled out here. So what I did was I have these casseroles, and what I do is whenever it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, I always make a turkey, and I take that turkey and I chop it up. And I save my gravy and my vegetables from our turkey dinner. And what I do is I make turkey shepherd's pie. And what that looks like is you, like I say, you take the turkey, you chop it up, put it into a big bowl, put all your dressing into the bowl with the turkey, then you add all your vegetables, put that all in the bowl, and then you got your gravy, your turkey, your dressing, the vegetables. You're going to mix all of that up into the bowl. Then I take these tin 5x7 containers and I spread out the bottom half. I put that turkey mixture in the bottom half of the container. Then I top it with the mashed potatoes that are from our turkey dinner. Once I top it with the potatoes, sometimes I'll put shredded cheese over the potatoes. And then I put, like, those 5x7 metal containers come with these cardboard lids. They're cardboard on the outside, and it's a foil lining on the inside. You put it so the foil lining is down facing towards the casserole, and then there's a little lip that goes around that metal container, and that folds over the lid so that that's done. And then I write on the cardboard side, which is now on the outside, I write what it is. But turkey shepherd's pie, and then I put the date on it, which would, I have some from last December. And so I have it December 2023. This is how long, we have these. And so this last Thanksgiving, we did a turkey and I made some more. So what I've done is I just use the old stuff first, and then you start using the new stuff once we've finished the stuff from 2023. So it's a great use of that turkey, because this last Thanksgiving I did my turkey dinner, and then I did a turkey tetrazzini with chopped up turkey in it, and then I used up the dressing because my son can't have the dressing. I don't make a gluten-free dressing. So what I do is I put the dressing on, I cook the dressing in a separate pan. I don't stuff my turkey with that dressing because it's not a gluten-free. I use regular bread for the dressing. I have tried making gluten-free dressings. I did one and it was a rice and sausage dressing. I have done that before. It's just easier to make a bread dressing. That's all it is. Just being lazy that's really all it is when it comes to stuff like that. Okay, so I've filled this up. I've pretty much picked off everything that I could pick off of these kale, and we'll take this into the house and wash it up. I'm just going to show you my compost pile and what it looks like now. Okay, just taking a quick look at what we've done. That's the garlic bed. Got that one in the center. Quickly just went along and spread it out, all my compost over each of these beds. Picked my kale. Everything is all spread out ready for winter. Bring on the winter. Well, I don't usually say that, bring on the winter. But got that all spread out. Didn't do that. Got this one done. I didn't end up doing this one just because I still have these baby bok choy and hikari salad turnips, and then in behind I have some corn salad planted in there. But that bed's all done. So this is what I'm talking about, what my husband's doing. Kind of looks like a bonsai, and it goes all the way up to the top of the driveway, and then he has all of this that he's going to be loading into the back of his truck. So once he gets all of this garbage removed and taken out of here, then he's going to be putting all of this bark all in underneath there, because like I say, we can't have this sitting there all winter long. That's prime parking area. When you look at the compost pile, I went from here and went all the way into there. That's probably a good 3 feet. So now what I need to do is cover this back up. And then I have these cement pieces, chunks, that I put on the plastic to hold it down. So, I just need one here. And I had another one. Oh, here it is, way over here. I'll bring these two pieces over. And that just holds it down to keep the animals out from rummaging through our compost. I mean, you just never know what the heck they want to rummage in there for. So I'm going to go inside. My lunch is ready, and have a nice hot lunch, take my kale in, have a shower, and carry on with my day. So thanks for joining me. I hope you like this video. If you like the video, put a like in there. And if you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks for joining me. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.